Hello YouTube community, welcome back to Life's Pharmacy. Today I just wanted to provide some information about this particular raised garden bed and talk about what's called companion planting or gilding. Um, for some of you this may just be a confirmation that it works. It's a system that works. It's designed to work and function as nature intended. I do go into more specific details in other videos, so you can continue to subscribe to my channel, look into some of these other discussions that I have with beneficial planting, but want to show you what the garden looks like and what some of this requires. So what you're looking at here is the overall. You can see that this raised garden bed, which is in zone 9B, which has a traditionally very sandy soil system, but through the method of utilizing a nitrogen fixer, which is in this case called the peanut plant. It flowers. You can see these yellow flowers. A lot of people say they are edible, and when you eat them they taste like peanut. Some of the important facts about this particular plant is, one, it creates a ground cover to suppress weeds, so I don't have to worry about weeding in this garden. Also, it helps retain moisture because it is covering the soil and ensuring that the soil is not being burnt or dried out. Another important factor about this is that it is fixing the nitrogen. It is literally creating the soil system that I need to be able to grow healthy and vibrant growing plants. So talking more about companion planting and how these particular things are planted. One, planting dense is good. Again, it keeps weeds restricted and requires less time for maintenance. The other thing is that you don't have to worry about a lot of diseases when you plant things what I'll say or call sporadically versus the traditional method of line planting or in rows. Now, another important thing is, again, when you're incorporating plants, this particular plant here that vines is called the pea vine. It produces, you can see these pea pods. Now, one thing I've noticed, most things that produce pea pods are nitrogen fixers. So planting them in or near some of your systems, whether it be fruit trees or just a normal vegetable garden like you're seeing here, is important because you don't have to spend money and time and soil amendments as much when these particular plants are actually creating the soil system and environment that you need. Having this placed in its position right here, we're south facing, this also creates a mini microclimate and another option for heavy feeding plants, like if I wanted to put other beans that would trellis up, or maybe other heavy feeders like tomatoes or corn. I could grow in here, and this plant will help provide the heavy nitrogen that those plants need, but also provide the shade if they need it. In some cases, since we're in extreme heat conditions here in the late afternoon. So a lot of things to consider. The other thing is these flowers that it produces brings beneficial insects and pollinators, which we want. And then also this plant is an edible flower. So having multiple uses for plants, whether they are considered a sacrificial plant that you sacrifice for uses such as nitrogen, or if it's a beneficial plant that brings insects or perhaps ensures that unwanted pests do not come, like marigolds are a plant that a lot of people believe help in deterrence. One of the things that you'll notice is as these plants grow up, they kind of introduce themselves in between the nitrogen fixer peanut plant. It's very easy to just move these aside. If I wanted to transplant something here, I could. If I wanted to cut this back and open it up, put some seeds in and direct sow, you could easily do that. You'll see there's things like longevity spinach and dinosaur kale. We have some flowering Dijon mustard. You'll see other smaller plants beginning to present themselves, like this kale, this curly kale here. You'll see just randomly, you can look through here, and you have to have a sharp eye to see. Here's basil. Basil, another good companion plant. The scent deters some pests. It also helps in that regard. Moving around, you'll see adding color to your garden is important, just for visually, but also, again, bringing certain pollinators, bees, butterflies, dragonflies, things like this. You want to occasionally place them within your edible garden as well. Here's another example of a small guy just beginning to present himself in between the nitrogen fixer. Here you'll see some leaves of a sweet potato, also a very good ground cover. Now here's a pest that you'll see, that you can see here. These have a short lifespan, and I'll actually throw him over there. These do a lot of damage, and usually I plant a certain lily that will help occupy their feeding needs, and they'll stay out of my garden. But occasionally you will have some pests in here that you'll notice from time to time. And again, that just, observe your garden, know what you need to do. If perhaps I needed something here to help occupy them and keep them out of eating our food, well then that's of course what I would do. And again, you can see things grow within this nitrogen fixer plant very well. And in this particular garden, it's always in progress. As I harvest things, I'll remove things from the soil, I'll replant things. That way there's always something new that is growing, and it's growing in different stages to be able to allow me to harvest at different times of its season or its lifespan. Again, microclimate is a big part of making sure of what sort of things you want to grow at certain times of the year. I found that if I want to grow certain things more into the summer, that of course I have to make sure that it is at a certain temperature and that there's a certain amount of sun exposure to be able to extend the life. So this is just a real quick clip, like I've said, on the kitchen garden and some of the concepts of beneficial planting. So if you've got any questions, again, I will be doing more individual gilding and companion planting videos specific to certain plants. But if you have any questions, you can certainly email me at info@lifespharmacy.com. Thanks for watching.